All right, man. Let's talk about Amon-Ra St.Brown actually got fined for hitting Daron Payne, and Daron Payne got ejected and suspended. So he got fined over 12 G's, almost 13 G's, right? And we're gonna just talk about the difference of it, and also we're gonna talk about a little bit something else too. Washington probably mad or he should have been suspended. One of the big differences about it is Daron Payne snuck Amon-Ra St.Brown like a pussy. You know what I'm saying? He snuck him. See, when St.Brown and Daron Payne first exchanged blows, it was some words being said. I believe Daron Payne pushed him, and St.Brown, fired back. You know what I'm saying? So, you put your hands on somebody, expect what it is. Expect to get hit back. So then what really happened for what happened when Amon-Ra St.Brown got caught is that when he got caught slipping, he got he was walking and Daron, some words exchange, Daron Payne snuck him. A big 300-pound pussy sneaking a receiver. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, the referee missed when St.Brown struck him, but it was an even exchange. You ran your mouth, you pushed him, he pushed you, he smacked you in your fucking mouth, and they scored and they walking back, and you couldn't take it and you hit him. He's a pussy for that. Don't forget, he was, got into it with Jonathan Allen, his teammate a couple years ago. So that's the difference, but also the elephant in the room is the simple fact that the Lions have a big game versus the Eagles. So they want St.Brown to be in that game versus the Eagles. Even if these teams see each other down the road in playoffs or whatever it may be, this sets it up for it to be a bigger and better game. You know what I'm saying? So they not going to sit here and blow the whistle and suspend him. Not for this big game. So, when you a loser, and we've been losing to Detroit for a long time, we always on the bad side of these exchanges. We always on the bad side of these exchanges. Even when we was winning this year, we was on the bad side of some of this shit with the Kansas City Chiefs. So Washington got to eat it. Nobody care about Washington this year because your quarterback got injured and y'all losing. We dealt with it for years. The inconsistencies, the bad calls at the end of games, and we was always on the bad side of it. It comes with growing pains. The difference, what happened with Washington, I don't think the team, on paper per se got worse or they start smelling themselves. I don't even think it really boiled down to Jaden Daniels getting injured. It's that the general manager didn't do his job. His job was go out there, and Jaden Daniels can't be our leading rusher. That's the job. Find him a running game, and they didn't find him a running game. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. Had they ran the football, they would probably be a playoff team, one of the favorites to win the NFC, to go to the Super Bowl, and they would have a healthy quarterback. But then again, y'all got that offensive coordinator in Cliff Kingsbury who don't care nothing about running the football. So we can have these conversations all day. But when you lose it and you ain't one of the darlings, if you ain't Dallas or you ain't somewhere where Peyton Manning or Patrick Mahomes is at, you know what I'm saying? This is how they play you. You always on the shit in your sticks. They always gonna go for the winners. Unfortunately. And Washington has had great success in this league with Joe Gibbs, Doug Williams. They've won Super Bowls. I mean, they've done prominent things, but they're not imprinted on the league as Dallas or Pittsburgh or the Raiders. For whatever reason, they're not looked at in that class. And maybe one of the reasons that is, they not looked at it that way. One of the reasons that might be is for the simple fact that DC fan base, they don't really have a strong fan base. They don't really have a strong fan base. And that's just the God honest truth. Most of them DC fans don't have no loyalty to DC teams. They have no loyalty to DC teams. None. And, you know, I've come across a couple. Man, most of them, the Washington fans, the motherfuckers live in Indiana, San Antonio, Alaska. Most DC people, and maybe because DC at one point, it was like Atlanta, and it still may be that way. It's like a place where people migrate to. You know, people get their, you know, especially it's the chocolate city. It's the original chocolate. People get their degrees and they stake their claim in DC. You know, they go to DC for their professional careers. You know, they may lay some seeds there and plant some roots there and build a family there. It's very expensive now. But at one point, DC was live. DC got a lot of history for being, a lot of cultural history for being live. So that's might be why that, you know, you don't see a lot of the DC residents. I'm a Dolphins fan. I'm a Steelers fan. I'm a New York Knicks fan. You start kind of seeing that, you know, but it's really one of them cities where, like Atlanta, everybody used to come there, plant their roots. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, hella culture in DC. But they don't have a strong fan base, in my opinion. I know people gonna push back. Well, yeah. I don't think they got a strong fan base. I know that for a fact. I know a couple brothers down there in DC. They don't really fuck with them like that. They everywhere else. I'm a Cowboy fan. They even got DMV Cowboy fan groups and shit. Fuck out of here. Wish them niggas would come here with Detroit Cowboy. Man, please. But there's hella culture in that city of DC for sure. But yeah, I don't blame them. I would be mad too, but honestly, the Eagles game, and then your guy snuck our guy and he got caught. It's always the retaliator. But for you to sneak a wide receiver, you deserve to be suspended for that alone. You a flat out pussy. And I mean that. For you to sneak a wide receiver and they scored, like I said before, this dude got anger inches before. Control your anger, big fella. You know, control your anger. You want to put your hands on this guy, that guy, sneak a receiver, like, cool. Like, you know, and I knew it was something. I knew, like, when Javon Kinlaw said, I started thinking, like, and I seen St.Brown response. He smirked and said, I don't know. You know, and I'm like, yeah, that motherfucker probably did it. Shit was funny as hell. Why did Washington always putting their hands on something? When Trent Williams put his hands on Richard Sherman? Every time y'all getting y'all ass whooped, y'all can't keep y'all hands to yourself. You know what I'm saying? Richard Sherman better than me. Because I would have went to my locker room, went to my car, grabbed my hammer. I'm for true. Hey man, if you ever do that shit again, like real talk. Like, no, that motherfucker too big. I'd have grabbed the hammer like, yo, my man. It's like, you ever do that shit again, you hit me again, it'll be your last time hitting me. Like, I'll straight up and down. He could have reported to the NFL, like, if he wanted to, like a pussy, man. Fuck yeah. I'm like, have you ever put your fucking hands on me again? Take your loss like a fucking man. Hell yeah. Like, fuck that. I grabbed the hammer like, yo, my man. It's like, come here. It'd have been on some man-on-man shit. That happened with Ben Wallace. Somebody called Ben Wallace something on the court. And Ben Wallace sat on his car after the game, and they said he split his shit. But hey, it is what it is. Hit the link tree. Find me everywhere. X, Facebook, Kick, Twitch, the whole nine. Check out Detroit Lions Talk playlist. Peace.